Hello, this is Thomas Vanderveen, and I'm going to give you a short presentation about protecting your online reputation. This presentation is geared for students and parents, and really more for parents to watch with students to kind of go over things that you see as you go. First of all, I love this quote. I think it embodies what the presentation's about. Your intentions don't matter. Perception is reality. If people perceive you the wrong way, it doesn't matter what your intentions are, and that's so true online. If somebody sees a picture of you and thinks one thing about you, they're going to think of that about you, especially if it's a first impression. So no matter how many times you try to argue against that or you try to put up a different facade for them, they're going to think based on what their first perception was or what they want to see. We're going to talk about the different social media sites, kind of just in general, not get into Snapchat or Twitter or Instagram, just the general concept of keeping your reputation and being careful online. So, as far as your online presentation goes, the Family Online Safety Institute says that many kids are friends online with their parents, or it's just important to be a good role model online as it is in real life. I think parents, for the most part, what they do online, the kids are going to see it, and a lot of times they might say, "Well, I'm embarrassed. I'm not going to look at my parents' Facebook, and I don't want them to be friends with me." But if you are friends with them, you can kind of monitor what they do as long as they don't have an alternative account, and you can show to them what good behavior is. I mean, they're going to follow, the lead of an adult for the most part. So, think before you post. I think this would be a good poster to maybe have up in a classroom or in your house. Is, just think if you get angry, well, you only stay angry for a few moments, but what you post online will make you look like you're angry for a lifetime if it doesn't go away. Or, emotional things or things about, a boyfriend or a girlfriend, or if you're mad at someone. Kids that need to understand that when you vent that stuff in real life, it might only last a brief period of time, but they'll freeze their emotions in time online. I thought this was an important video to play. I'm just going to play a little bit of it. It's called Pause Before You Post. It's a good website to go to think before you actually post something.
Social media websites such as Facebook, such as Twitter, such as YouTube, where you can obviously make videos and then have people comment and rate them, they're so popular because it allows us to express ourselves.
The one problem with social networking is if you post a piece of information on your profile, whether it's a picture or a comment or a quote, whatever it is, all your friends get that. Maybe they think it's cool, maybe they think it's neat, maybe they think it's funny, so then they share that with their friends.
When you're online, you sometimes feel invincible. I mean, you're behind a keyboard, you're behind the text pad of your phone, and you just have this, geographic distance from anyone that you're talking to.
In our research, we find that about 1 in 5 teens has experienced cyberbullying in some form at some point in their lifetime. For all of the hundreds, if not thousands of kids I've spoken to, I think a lot of it is they genuinely don't realize the harm that they're causing.
I think a lot of teens are hearing from adults in their life that, look, you have to be really careful about what you post because of employers, because of college admissions coordinators, because of parents, or even law enforcement.
It's better when you learn from the mistakes of others than to make the mistake yourself and have to live with the long-term consequences of a simple mistake.
Okay, and I'm going to stop there with that, just because, again, I thought it was really important. I think that encouraging children to push the pause button on what they're going to say before they say it is probably like a really good slogan, a main slogan that we should have up, like, again, in classrooms. Think before you put things somewhere. It can stay on your permanent record online. We had to do data mining for one of my classes recently, and I really learned that, if you put things online, people can find them, decades later if they want to. So it's a good life lesson to practice reflection before posting. Think before you post. Another thing that I learned that I think is really important for students is to set everything to private. Even if you set your post to private, though, if a friend doesn't, your post can be visible on their site. You can be, and I love this term, guilty by association. It stems from one friend to another friend to another friend. Eventually, someone can get connected back to you that wrote a political thing or, some hate post or something like that. So students need to be very careful. And I heard recently a lot of kids telling me, well, I post under alternative name or I use my nickname. And I've heard teachers tell me they do that. And technically, I read through Facebook, and technically they'll shut your account down if they find out you do that. You have to, according to them, post under your real name. I recently signed up for Twitter, and they made me put my real phone number in and actually texted me. So they're cracking down on that kind of stuff. So I do think that having a fake name is a great idea. But then wouldn't that be terrible for parents to try and find their kid too? Like they'll give them a fake account, and so you got to, as a parent, probably check all your kids' accounts, and students need to make sure that they're not creating these fake accounts because they're opening themselves up for problems and people connecting to people that they don't want to. Don't randomly friend people. I think the best advice I read online is that you should read your child's friend list over and over again throughout the year just to make sure they're not friends with somebody randomly new you don't know about. And, even remember that you might trust somebody that but they might be posting questionable things. So maybe you should block them, and if you don't know somebody, don't friend them, because if they're not their friend in real life, they're not going to be your friend in cyber life. Pictures, I just thought I'd mention this. Those are really, really important to monitor. I think posting pictures as few as possible are important. I mean, these are just kind of goofy, silly pictures that you see, but if you think every picture that you put up, anybody can pull up on their phone in school. So it's like having a poster up on your locker where everybody can share it, but except millions of people can see it if they really want to. So I thought that was important. Managing your passwords. Yahoo recently had a huge hacking. Even I was affected by that, and I had to change my password. So I think kids and parents alike need to make sure that they're creating a very unique password and that they're changing it. For me, I think it's important to change it consistently, because if someone guesses it, even as a kid, you could open up your parents to their accounts being hacked if you're using a shared computer with them. So 40% of people had an online account hacked, a password stolen, or were notified their personal information had been compromised, myself being included in that. So, but only 8 in 10 people said they were concerned. So people need to take it a lot more seriously. They could get into your bank accounts and get into your credit card account. Proofreading, I just thought I'd throw this in there. I even said this might seem silly, but people judge you by what you write online. I'm cringing reading that first line there because I intentionally misspelled everything to kind of prove a point. Like if you read something that someone wrote and it's misspelled, I hate to say this, but I feel like their IQ drops a little bit in my mind. And I misspell things all the time, so I'm criticizing myself too. So I think we all need to be really conscious of what we do, because people are going to read that and judge you by how you spell things. For kids, for students too, remember that your parents can revoke your account. And parents, remember, you can do that. You can revoke their accounts. Watch what they do. And if you find something to be questionable, take their account down, take their phone. There's a lot of bad stuff out there, and, you can control that. Data mining means just searching yourself out, Googling yourself on the internet and seeing what you can find. I think parents and students should do this on a regular basis to see what their child's digital footprint is out there. I know for the most part, kids are just going to have social media sites, but you never know. And as the kids get older and into their 15, 16, 17, when they're going to apply for college, it's very important. Getting towards the stuff that really pertains more just to the students, bullying. There's a really good website, safekids.com, that I used for this information, and there's a lot of information here. But just in general, if kids are bullying each other online and you see that happen, don't respond, don't retaliate, save the evidence. I think that's the most important thing. Do a screenshot and go and show it to a trusted adult. That means a parent or a teacher or somebody that you trust that can handle that, because no one deserves that. You can also block, by bullying, it could just be somebody saying something stupid that, you kind of question. You don't need to be friends with that person. Block them and be civil. Don't go back and write something back to them, because then you're bullying in too. So bullying isn't just face to face. It's mostly online nowadays. So avoiding digital criminals. That might sound kind of goofy for a kid, but all it takes is for your child to click on the wrong link or open up something from someone they don't know on your computer, and then blam, your credit card information is out there for someone to take, or they can hold your information hostage. That's a new thing that's going around. So if you ever as a kid question about clicking on something, show it to an adult. Even if you think you know that person's name, that's a thing I've seen a lot too. If they have your parents' name or someone you know's name, don't click on it. They do searches and find that and somehow connect that. I don't know how that works, but they're very advanced with that stuff.